So Bucky, how's it feel? Now that you don't have to worry about draft or any of that stuff, and you can just concentrate on football this year.
I mean, it feel pretty good, man. First time like out the season, really getting some time to take some time to myself and pretty much get off the field, relax a little bit. But yeah, I mean, as you know, as you start playing as a kid, you never really get no time of being off or things like that. Everything is either you playing little league football, right to basketball, right to park football. But yeah, just being able to sit back and relax, get some time off, and then get back on the grass.
Bucky, when you go back and look at film of yourself from last year and do some of that self-scouting, look for areas to improve, what are you honing in on? What do you see from yourself last year, maybe from the start of the season to the end where you really showed a lot of improvement?
I feel like once you always start something new, it's gonna have to slow down a little bit for you. But like when I first got thrown in there, the game was moving pretty fast for me. But yeah, as I just settle down and let the game and just think about it like it's just football and not think about too much other things that's going on out there. But yeah, just always going back and looking at the film and looking at things that you can get better at and improving. And also not getting satisfied and stuck in last year because it's a new year. Nobody cares about what you did last year. It's what can you do for me now. But I always been that guy that pretty much never gets stuck in the past and always be with my feet at and work hard every day.
What do you say about Rashad and his leadership, his mentorship for you, obviously coming in as a starter, you overtaking him, having to take a different role and still being there in your guys' relationship?
I mean, our relationship go a long way, man. That type of stuff won't let get between our relationship. We know we both out there and we got a high role on this team, so we're going to do that at a high level. But I mean, that's just a guy that always been the same since I got here. He was always there for me. We always talking to each other about what we see out there on the field and just coaching each other up. And I mean, like, in this profession, you always got to have somebody to have your back. Like I say, in that room, we tight, man. Like, we won't let all the outside noise interfere with how our relationship is. But, yeah, just going out there knowing somebody have your back, and we're going to compete for one another each time that we step out there in the field. It's a blessing to have somebody like that.
Is it fun to share the field with him and like the pony package?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to share the field with all them guys. Sean Tucker, DJ, Josh that just came in. I mean, it's always fun. Like I said, like when I was in college, I had a loaded running back room, and we all care for one another. Like we never took things personal. Like when it's time for you to go out there and it's your drive, you got to go do your job. Because you know the next person coming in gonna hire your back and go out there and play at a high level. So when you knowing guys got your back and you know y'all got a relationship, it's a way better feeling.
You're a pretty tough guy physically. I know last year you dealt with like the foot, you had the hip. Now that you've had a chance to have a little bit of a break, like how does your body feel now?
My body feel good. Like I said, just going back to what he said, just being able to have some time off and not really doing too much. But when it's time to ramp it back up, it's time to go. Like going back off this phase, like it's time to ramp it back up because we know we got camp coming up. I want to stay able to be out in the heat, train. So when I get back to camp, I'll be ready.
What's it been like watching your buddy Tez Johnson? Last couple of weeks he's made a couple plays on some deep balls. What's it been like watching his transition?
I mean, it's been a blessing, man. He used to always call me like out there game or something, and be like, he want to play for the Buccaneers, and I'd be like, man, you got a whole season to focus on, man. Just focus on that. And I mean, the man above made it happen for him, and his dream came true.
You have the entire starting offensive line coming back this season. That doesn't happen all the time. So what does that do for this offense, for you, in the running game?
I mean, we got, all them guys are returning, but just being able to have trust in them guys, like you always hear when I come up here and say, I don't talk about myself, I talk about the O-line, because without them guys, none of them things are possible. So just being able to give credit to them guys, every chance that I get, I'm going to do that.
You have a friendly banter and rivalry with Tez. What's that like? I mean, he's constantly talking about you. Like, away from the mics, what's it like?
I mean, you know, it's always going to be competitive with your best friend. I mean, just being able to just keep him on his toes, not letting him get satisfied, just being able to know, like, when I got here, having to figure it out on my own, but not too much, just being here for him, just so he can get his own experience on how things are going to go for him.
Who's faster?
Mike Evans.
I'm fast,
Mike Evans, and he said how helpful it is that Josh Gazard's offense has some new stuff that they can implement. With, a lot of the terminology is similar, so learning the playbook is quite tough. What have you saw from him as an offensive coordinator, and how nice is it that you can just kind of lock in and get the familiar stuff and then learn the new stuff?
I mean, we all know Grizz has stepped up to be our new offensive coordinator, but the craziest thing about it, last year I was pretty close with Grizz because, like, I'd be wanting him to coach me up on different things that like screens and things like that. And he always had an answer for me like, yeah, but we need you to do this and that. We all know he's a smart guy, so just being able to know that he coming in and got a high road to do it, just being able to follow his lead and knowing that he will put us in the right position and just going out there and executing at a high level for him.
Bucky, you mentioned your dynamic that you have with Rashad, but what do you make of Sean Tucker, and what's he like behind the scenes?
I mean, you all know, like, the game that we played, where we had to step up and play a big role. Sean came in, like we all said, like, we always just got to be ready when our number is called. And, like, we always just try to keep that mindset because you never know what happened in this league. Guys go down, just being able to just always have that mindset that I got to be the next player up.
What are your impressions of the Bucs defense? They've got some new pieces: Anthony Walker, Hassan Reddick, a couple rookies at Parrish, and more. So, what have you seen in the OTAs and minicamp?
I mean, every day that we about to start a team run or a team pass, I look over there and be like, oh, they got some weapons over there. But yeah, man, that's just a blessing for the offense, knowing that we're going against a great defense every day that's going to give us great looks, and it's just being able to go out there and compete with them at a high level, knowing that that's going to make us better and also make the team better.
What are you hoping to build off of from last year? You had such a phenomenal rookie season.
Like I said, I'm not a guy that's stuck in last year's ways. I'm just a guy that's willing to put everything else in the past and willing to get better each and every day, just being able to be better than I was last year.
So, like, what kind of things do you want to be better at then?
Everything.
Everything?
Do you have any personal goals this year? Obviously, the goal is to win a championship, but is there something you're trying to look to do?
My goal is to go out there on that grass and help my team win football games. As long as we win, I'm happy.
Bucky, have you noticed this team a little bit more talkative, at least the defensive side, in these team drills? Do you like that?
I think it's been like that since I got here, man. Just a competitive team, man. Like, we want to help each other get better, and them the type of teams that go far. But yeah, not being quiet out there, having fun with it. We all know it's hot, you get tired, but just being able to have fun out there with it and still think about it as a kid's game, it's a blessing.
Was it confusing today, having all the linebackers and edge rushers switching their numbers on you in practice?
Nah, because I already know the guys and I know their face, so I'm familiar with them, so the numbers ain't trick me at all.
You just talked to Mike just before you. Like, obviously different position, but what is it like sharing a locker room with a guy that every year it seems like he's got a new record that he's, close to catching? Obviously this year he's got the potential to break Jerry Rice's record for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. What's it like being out there alongside a guy like that every single day, knowing what's in front of him?
I mean, like, when I first got here, Mike was like one of the first to like just come up to me and say what's up, but you never know like how them guys really are because you on the outside looking in. So when you actually get to be around them guys and see how humble they are and see that the things that he did for this league and this organization, just being able to see how humble he is every day. You never see him get too high, you never see him get too low, but just being able to watch him and see how he grow each and every day, it's a blessing to be around some that I could probably tell my family or kids one day that I played one of the greatest to ever do it.
Thanks, Bucky.
Thank
Bucky.
you.
Appreciate it. Anthony, how was the beginning of minicamp and the end of it for you? And also, if you can talk a little bit, you're a chirping guy. You heard from all the offensive players this week. They enjoy it. Can you talk a little bit about that and the kind of energy it brings?
Yeah, for me, like, this is like year 9 off season. You kind of want the season to come a little faster every year, but this is a crucial time. Just that team bonding, that team camaraderie getting built on that field. And again, it's going to be some days where you got to bring the juice, bring the energy. You're going against each other for a long period of time, right, before you go against a different opponent. So how can you continue to get better, make it fun, make it competitive, and just have fun doing it, man? This is a game, a little kid game that we get to enjoy. As I'm about to be 30 years old this year, so I'm enjoying it, still having fun with it.
And what are your impressions of Servante Dennis? He's stepping into a big role, not a lot of playing time. You obviously played a lot in this league. When you line up next to him and see him on film, what are your takeaways?
Yeah, he'll be a great player in this league for a very long time. We've been talking about it since I met him. First day of OTAs, made one of the best plays I've ever seen a linebacker make. Include Levante David. Don't tell him I said that. But man, he's special. He's special, man. Very cerebral. Knows the game very well. Can really do everything on the field as a pass dropper, blitzer, and run defender. So excited to see him, man. I told him, man, just as much as you can. Football is 100% injury rate, but as much as he can, stay healthy. He'll put himself in a great position by the end of this year.
You've been knowing Levante for a long time.
What's it like with teammates?
Yeah, man, it still feels surreal sometimes. It's kind of like taking a group chat and going on a trip together finally, we compete every day mentally, obviously on different sides. I'm in the AFCs and the NFC, and then now to be teammates and still had a competitive nature daily, I actually live with them. So every day, just trash talk, but making sure, we hold each other accountable, everybody in that room.
What do you like about this Bucs culture? What's different here?
Yeah, I've been on some really good teams. I love the way they do things here, from top to bottom. All the guys, the coaches, the offensive coaches, defensive coaches, just a real family organization here. I'm excited to be here, man. I told Levante I wouldn't mind finishing my career here, so excited to just join it and be a player, play my role and helping this team win.
To be a player of Levante's caliber, it's so much about not necessarily what you do on the field, although with him it's pretty incredible, but it's the day-to-day things that you do when nobody's watching.
No doubt.
It's being organized in all aspects of your life. What are some things that you maybe realized, having spent as much time with him as you had, not just in practice, but at home?
Yeah, no, I told him everything. I'm watching him every step of the way, from the way he handles himself at home to, in the building, in the community, everything like that, man. To learn from a guy who I believe is a first ballot Hall of Famer. You at this point in my career, to just find out the little details of how he goes about his business every day. I'm eager to learn, and I've been in his hip pocket ever since I known him. But now being with him day to day, it's been very exciting to see him, how he handles his business every day. I can't give you all the secrets, but hopefully they work for me.
And also, following up on that, because again, I know obviously you're playing in the AFC and stuff, but still, like, you sometimes watch people around the league to see how they're doing. Do you have a favorite play of his that you've maybe watched over the years?
I would say favorite game, the Super Bowl against guarding Travis Kelce the whole game. Just the, that guy's getting the ball. A very great player that he is. And for him to dominate that matchup, that game was very special to watch. We kind of talked about it, leading up to it, different things, that he had to kind of lock in on, and to see him do it was pretty special. The interception against Atlanta last year, I told him, he got a score to put that game away. But we'll talk about that too. But that was a great play as well.
You were with him rep for rep then in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, step for step. Every play he was guarding them. He didn't shy away from that matchup. And I thought I thought he should have been Super Bowl MVP for his play against him.
Now that you've been on the field with Baker and in the meeting rooms with him, how has he changed since?
Say that one more time.
Now that you've been on the field with Baker and in the meeting rooms and everything like that, how has he changed since Cleveland?
It's a little bit more mature, I guess. We all are. He was, growing up in Cleveland. He's, a few years removed, and again, just more mature. We all are. As we grow in this league, still competitive. Still chirping, everything like that. So he knows I bring the same energy on the defense. We've been doing that since Cleveland days. So it's fun to get that competition. Like I said, those competitive juices flowing. Even in the off season. And it's only going to make us better. So, I know Baker's been doing this for a very long time as an elite quarterback, so excited to be his teammate again.
And Anthony, as a linebacker, when you look and see the defensive front that you have to play behind Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey, Hassan Reddick, Yaya Diaby, what's your initial impression of what those guys can be in terms of pass rushers getting at the quarterback?
Yeah, the smile says it all, I guess. Just watching those guys work every day, knowing who those guys are, should be a fun year. That's all I'll say.
What's that linebacker room like with you and Dion, Levante? You don't usually come upon many rooms that have that much experience and that much stripes on your shoulders.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great room to learn from. A lot of guys that's played football at a high level. And then like you said, you got the young guys in there as well. Then you got Voss, who's up and coming. He's going to be a very good player for a very long time. Yeah. You got Levante, who's the savvy vet in the room, still playing great ball. So I'm able to learn so much from these guys. They push me, continue to make me be better, and we hold each other to that standard. To be the best group in the in the building, in the league. So We got a standard to uphold every day. I think today we had the jersey swap, so you had to whoever messed up in that jersey, that's the fine you have to pay. So you didn't want guys to mess up in your jersey, so that was fun today. You know, just again, another way to compete and have fun. And you know, like I said, it's off season, kind of gets a little long, but you know, you still want to compete and have fun.
Recently, Coach Bowles said that he felt that inside linebacker was the deepest room on the defense. How's it feel being part of that group that Bowles was giving praise to?
Yeah, like I said, that's the standard that we're trying to set, and we got to earn that every day. That's not a one-time thing. The linebacker, on every team, the linebacker room is the quarterback of the defense. So that's our standard every day. We got to be that group. We got to lead this team. Obviously, we got guys everywhere on this team that make plays and all that, but we got to be the best group on the field for us to, get to where we want to be.
Do you feel a lot of competition with Deion Jones, given that he was your teammate previously, and you guys had that relationship?
It's competition with everybody. That's the nature of the business. You get to a team where you have Super Bowl aspirations, and you go into an elite room. I got competition with Levante, Servassier, to the rookies, Nick, John, Antonio Greer, all those guys. Man, we're gonna push each other there, and the best player's gonna play. We understand that, and as long as we put the best players on the field, and the guys, earn it and everything like that. That's all you can ask for, and I think that's what we have in that room. Guys that's going to push each other and hold everybody to that standard.
And were you still coaching high school football last year as well, and is that something that you'll miss?
Yeah, I coached last year with my dad's team. I will not miss that, actually. Just for now, it was a lot going from football practice to another football practice, so get a little break this year. But definitely something that I want to do in the future at the NFL level.
What's your first impression? We were just talking with Bucky Irving, Rashad White. I know you don't have the pads on either, which I'm sure you're looking forward to. But what's your feel on those two guys specifically?
Yeah, I mean, in this league, you got to have two elite running backs on the team. That's the winning standard on every winning team. So yeah, I'm excited. Those guys, like you said, training camp, that'll be fun. Bucky, me and him, talk smack to each other all the time, even Rashad. But again, Bucky had a great year last year. Rashad's been doing it in this league for a long time. So excited to just, push each other to get better. It's only going to make us better, for us to get better for the season and for the opponents that we go against. So it's going to be fun to push each other, and I'm looking forward to it.
Kind of same thing with the tight ends there as well. Devin calls a lot of speed, but Cade and Payne Durham, it's your job to cover those guys. What have you seen from them so far?
Yeah, Cade, I'm kind of sick of him right now. Yeah, that's a real savvy route runner right there. He got me a few times this offseason, so I'm definitely I got to get in my bag a little bit. But no, man, that tight end room is special as well. Our whole offense, man, they put you in a lot of compromising positions, where you got to play the run, play the pass, and they make it all look the same. And that's, when you can do that, that's an elite offense. And again, like I said, just helping me get my eyes, in the right spot, my confidence on the field, and that's only going to make us better as a defense.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.